gang, don't do this to fix your surf stance. I said I wouldn't do this, but I need to clarify a few things because there's so many options on social media. True story. One morning I was training a group of professional surfers in here. One of them has a world title, as well as won a Triple Crown event. For some reason, the conversation came up about the Pooh Man stance versus this is how you should stand on your surfboard. He said, "Brah, you want to see my Pooh Man come off the bottom and smash whoopah, the lip? Take the Pooh Man, rotate the head, shoulders, hips, and the feet just a little bit. So you're in this kind of forward position. Now, don't load the knees. Load your hips. They're the biggest joint. They have the most power. This does not need to happen. Why not this? Well, now you're working with one leg. And this back leg is you're resting into the knee joint, ankle joint, and the hip joint. It doesn't need to happen. You need to load the hips. Yes, while surfing, the knee needs to be able to get into this internal rotation position, but it's not where you should preload for surfing. It needs to be here. If you get here, you're going to have a lot of knee pain, ankle pain, possibly hip pain. If you keep it open and you get lower, which means you're going to have a little more ankle flexibility, hip flexibility, and load these hips, you'll have more power. If you drop this knee in, you got one leg and you're resting into the knee joint and ankle joint and the hip joint pretty bad on that back side. Here's your front side bottom turn. Load it up. Doesn't have to be here, right? Back side bottom turn. Can get there. I'm loaded way more in the posterior chain, more muscles in the back, not loaded into one knee trying to bottom turn. So what gets me is there's a lot of coaches out there having young surfers preload in this position to the point where I've come in contact with young surfers who've been coached to load in this position and they've got knee problems and ankle problems at the age of 14, 15. What also gets me is there's a lot of stuff out there on social media, surf training here and rotating, or training here and jumping and landing in this position. Surfers are already in that position while they're in the water, creating imbalances. If you're going to train for your sport specific training is when you're in the water. You're training your sport. If you're training to improve your sport, when you're on land, you should be focused on creating balance in the muscles from the imbalance that you get in your sports. So strengthen that back leg to make it stronger and protect it, rather than training it like this and jumping and landing. The body goes through that when the athlete is out in the water. So on land, strengthen and correct imbalances, build and balance the muscles, and teach the body that it can go into those ranges of motion with control. If you want to get the body ready for those positions, then work on some mobility and flexibility to protect the joints and teach the joints that they can internally rotate and externally rotate.